Ostrich eggshell beads are commonly found in forager sites across sub-Saharan Africa. Although they have received a reasonable amount of investigation, the drilling technology used to perforate ostrich eggshell beads has received very little attention. As a result, not much is known about this technology. Archaeological discoveries to date indicate that ostrich eggshell bead technology originated in Eastern Africa towards the end of the Middle Stone Age and the beginning of the Later Stone Age, with the earliest ostrich eggshell beads found dating roughly 50,000 years ago. The full process of bead making will be discussed in another video. However, this video will be discussing the drilling technology used to make the holes in the beads themselves. So this is based on ethnographic accounts, what we know so far of drilling technology in the last few hundred years. And this has been described as being conducted with a nail-sized piece of iron or steel that is attached to a stick. And the tip of the drill is then placed in the center of a concave piece of shell. And the shaft of the stick is then rolled back and forth between the craftsperson's hand with some downward pressure until the drill pierces through the eggshell. However, the use of metal appears only in the last few hundred years, and given that ostrich eggshell beads were made for more than 50,000 years, other materials must have been used to drill the holes in the ostrich eggshell blanks. I conducted some experiments using materials that would have been accessible to foragers to see which materials worked best. Wood, porcupine quill, bone, enamel, and stone, as well as steel, was used with a variety of different tip shapes. Wood, quill, and bone were not able to drill any holes, as they were not hard enough to pierce the shell consistently, where enamel, stone, and metal was able to drill holes. However, the enamel drills did not perform consistently and were often only able to drill one hole before being rendered blunt or broken. Metal, in this case steel, performed the best, which is not very surprising, which was followed by stone or lithic material. Since metal was a recent introduction into the forager toolkit, it stands to reason that stone was most likely the candidate used for drilling the holes in ostrich eggshell beads for many tens of thousands of years. The experiments, as well as other archaeological research, indicated that tetrahedral tipped stone pieces were best for drilling holes, as they were symmetrical and could drill many holes into ostrich eggshell pieces before needing retouch or discard. These microlithic drills were made from small, thick, blade-like flakes with a triangular tip profile and retouched to be thin and symmetrical. The base was retouched to be hafted into a stick or a reed. With the experimental data and experience gained from them, it was possible to isolate a few lithic pieces to be analyzed for use wear and compared to the use we found on the experimental pieces. 2 drills were subsequently found from the assemblage of Little Muck Shelter that exhibited similar use wear to that of the experimental drills. And these drills date back to roughly 2,000 years ago. In addition, beads that were found from the same layers showed matching dimensions to the drills found in those same layers, which means that those drills were likely used to drill the holes in those particular beads, or it's just very likely. The study determined that early foragers most likely used microlithic drills made from small but thick flake blanks that were retouched along the laterals to create a near symmetrical point with a tetrahedral tip. At Little Muck Shelter, the base of the flake was also shaped to resemble that of a tang, and this was likely to aid a hafting into a stick or a piece of bone. This tool can act as a basis to help researchers identify similar technologies in older assemblages, revisit older assemblages, and also isolate them in new excavations to date, and then can subsequently be studied to help broaden our understanding of the complexity of forager technology.